All right, we live? No, not really. I wish I was. Hey, this one's entitled Thinking Out Loud. You know what I gotta do, right? Like I always do. Hold on. That's better. Anyway, thinking out loud. I do a lot of thinking. And you look at everything that's going on. How in the world did we get here? Well, here's my thoughts on that. Started a long time ago when we got off the gold standard and then started printing fake money. That was number one nail. Well, that probably wasn't number one nail, but that was the beginning. Actually, you know, this republic has been deteriorating ever since it's found, you know, the founding fathers and the Declaration of Independence was signed. It's actually been deteriorating. You know, we got the Constitution finally ratified, and now we're not following it some 200 some years later. Pretty freaking scary. But anyway, so let's just look at recent events, you know, from, I don't know, the assassination of JFK. So here's a Democrat, and one of the reasons why my father was a Democrat. Here's a Democrat that said, ask not what your country can do for you, but what you can do for your country. If you take those words at face value, and you really listen to it, it's actually for the collective good of the country, right? So it's kind of like eminent domain. Yep, I said it. Collective good of the society or of the country. Think about that one, because I do. You know, I wanted to say, man, that really meant a lot. What a great comment by JFK. Ask not what your country can do for you, but what you can do for your country. If I applied that today, I would have to flip it around and say, here's what I want my country to do for me. Leave me alone. Abide by the Constitution. Quit spending my money. Leave me alone. You know, I don't know why I'm paying more in taxes now than I made as a salary when I was in the Marine Corps. That didn't make any sense. Groceries, you go out of Food Line or wherever with 6 bags of groceries, you spent $150, and it depends on what you bought, or more. It's crazy. I'm just talking essentials, except for toilet paper, because there is none. I apologize for that song, but it's burning me up. Anyway, so ask what my country can do for me. I think they can leave me alone. I think that my governor should listen to the people instead of listening to his special interest who padded his pockets and padded the pockets of the freshman House of Delegates, the freshman delegates that took over and basically rammed all this tyrannical crap down our throats here in Virginia. And I can't blame it on them. I mean, they had a good game. You know, the rest, you know, people didn't get out and vote, but they want to go protest on January the 20th. Doesn't make any sense to me. If that many people would have voted, we wouldn't have been in that situation to begin with. Just a thought. See? Thinking out loud, right? So let's go back. I got a little sidetrack. Let's go back and talk about the other things. When the federal government got involved in the school system, that should have been a red flag right there. That should have been a red flag. That should have been up to the states. I can see certain guidelines, but that's where it all started. The indoctrination of the nation's youth. And when I was in college in the late 80s, 88, 89 time frame, I started to see this communism, socialism, political correctness thing take root in the college. Because back then they had vocational schools where you could go out and you could learn a trade, whether it was HVAC or mechanics or auto body or, you know, construction or, you know, refrigeration repair. They had vocational schools where you could go out, learn a trade, and make a good living for your family, you and your family. But it's all gone. It's all gone. They're trying to bring it back, but it's too late. Generations and generations have lost. I know a young man, I'm not going to mention any names on here, but I know a young man that actually his vehicle wouldn't start. And he's a millennial, and he literally held his phone with the hood up on his truck and said, "Okay, Google, why won't my vehicle start?" This is a 26-year-old man. Couldn't change a tire. It's sad. The school system has destroyed at least two generations of kids on purpose. Why do you think that they want to make marijuana legal and guns illegal? They want to keep you dumb as dirt. Because I'm telling you that legalization of marijuana is just backdoor gun confiscation. That's all it is. Because if you smoke dope, they ain't going to let you have a firearm. Especially if they issue you a medical marijuana card. Medical marijuana. Something to think about. Thinking out loud. Wages have basically, for the working people in this country, not kept up with inflation. On purpose. Separate the classes of people, the haves and the have-nots. Now this House Bill 5717 at the federal level, it's all about gun confiscation. It's all about gun confiscation, gun taxation. I seen a YouTube video here the other day where the guy laid it all out. It was, you know, you buy a Glock and a couple boxes of ammo, you spend $600. Right? Okay, cool. Not a big deal. But with all these taxes and fees and training requirements and all this crap, you can more than double that. So if you buy you a regular little old Glock 9mm, it's going to cost you $1,200 if this stuff passes. And they're not going to quit, people. You know, it seems to me that every time we get Republican-controlled anything, whether at the state or federal level, we all think, woohoo, we're safe. And we don't do anything. We don't do anything about it. We just kind of sit on our haunches. And then when the Democrats take over, then we want to get all up in arms. Well, I didn't see anybody getting all up in arms when Obama was in office. Oh, I'm sure there was a 2A protest here and there, but not on a massive scale like what's going on now. And just think, the Republicans are in control at the federal level. And they are not smacking these states down for violating Marbury versus Madison. Right? Any law that is repugnant to the Constitution is null and void. Thinking out loud. Then they want to take the rights of us, the hunters, away. To teach our children firearm safety. Right? Can't have a gun in a child's hand without direct supervision. Well, I got news for them up in Fairfax, Virginia. People out here in these rural areas, some of them have had their kids shooting since they were single digits, right? Like 5 and 6 years old. I know them as young as 1 or 2 that got their first .22 from their grandpa. So, thinking out loud. Where do they get off telling us that we can't put our 10-year-old or 9-year-old in a tree stand with a single shot 12 gauge or 20 gauge slug gun or whatever and go across the field and get an archery stand and hunt as father and son or father and daughter or mother and son or mother and daughter? Where do they get off telling us what we can and can't do? That goes back to ask what your country can do for you. Leave me alone. Leave me alone. I'm not hurting anybody. If I kill someone or I break, a true law that is not repugnant to the Constitution, okay, then so be it. Click the subscribe button. If you like this video, give me a thumbs up and share it. This is a pretty good one. Thinking out loud. So, I'm just trying to figure all this stuff out. You had the Vietnam War. You had all the riots at Kent State. Called out the National Guard, which is martial law, right? Pretty much. Did you know that the Marines operated in Los Angeles, California? Locked and loaded. Did you know that? I don't know if anybody knows that. But they did. Right during the Rodney King riots. Long Beach, Compton, Watts, Southgate, all over. The United States Marines on U.S. soil to quell the Los Angeles riots. Don't think they won't do it again. Something to think about. And I think about that and I question it. Why didn't someone say something at that time? To include me. I'm guilty. I'm guilty. That sun burning me up. Thinking out loud. Why did George Bush Sr. mention the New World Order? What did he know that we did not? Agenda 21. Why does the United Nations have a pistol in front of it with the barrel tied in a knot? Agenda 21. The depopulation of the world. I know I sound like a conspiracy theorist, right? The CIA coined that phrase. Depopulation of the world and control. Losing, the United States giving up our sovereignty, allowing foreign countries to come in and buy assets, United States assets. And they're worried about whether we protest or not. They worry about whether some woman would open up her beauty shop. They arrest her and throw her in jail. They illegally stop people going into Florida to ask them for their essential papers. Nazi Germany. Dr. Fauci and his clan of thugs, deep state, inflicting our government in the executive branch, legislative branch, and at the Supreme Court, and in our judicial branch. Who wrote the Patriot Act? Question. Thinking out loud. I know the answer. Brett Kavanaugh wrote the Patriot Act, the most intrusive, tyrannical piece of legislation that infringes on more rights of American citizens than any other piece of legislation in history. All because they needed to not let a tragic event like 9/11 go to waste. Explosives. Thinking out loud, why did Tower 7 fall? Why? Wasn't hit by a plane. Wasn't damaged. What was in Tower 7? What was in there that needed to disappear as part of this agenda? Just thinking out loud. The mural building in Oklahoma City that supposedly militia, right-wing, white supremacist, conspiracy theorist Tim McVeigh blew up. What was in the Murrah building? I know the answer to that one too. So, I'm just thinking out loud, folks. And you need to be thinking too. Where are we going to go? I seen a report this morning that said the stock market, according to Goldman Sachs, is going to slide another 18%. That's what they're projecting. So that's way worse than the 2008 housing bubble. Who let Jeffrey Epstein hang himself? Quote, unquote. All this is crazy. But here's what you can do as hunters. You can prepare. You can be ready to protect your families and your communities. That's really all you can do. If they didn't listen to us, and I'm just speaking for Virginia, if they didn't listen to us January 20th, what makes you think that they're going to listen to us if we go protest right now? They don't care. Government for the people, by the people is no longer valid in this country. And I'm not saying that just to try to stir up the pot, but it's the truth. Your schools are infiltrated. We're printing fake money. We're trillions upon trillions upon trillions of dollars in debt. And Trump is doing the same thing. He's running up the national debt. Has no plan to fix it. Maybe he did, I don't know, but he's fighting everything. Well, some things, bump stock ban. Why did they ban bump stocks? That's the fastest way to tear up your gun anyway. Throw a bump stock on it. Wear it out quick anyway. Make any sense to me? Thinking out loud. Virginia Hunters Coalition. Keep your powder dry. And be prepared to march at a minute's warning. Y'all have a good day.